Hey guys, it's Karina with Karina Loves to Plan. Welcome back to my channel. So I have a very exciting package here from the wonderful Marilyn Darling. If you haven't seen their channel, I'm going to link their channel down below. But they approached me and asked me whether I wanted some ink samples. So I, of course, said yes. I am so excited to open this up and swatch these with you. Let's get started. So firstly, there's this really lovely note with calligraphy, which is absolutely beautiful. Marilyn Darling does such a great job with the calligraphy. I'm definitely going to keep that. And then there was a cute little unicorn sticker included. So cute. But look at all of the ink samples, and none of them leaked. I'm always amazed when they don't leak. Okay, I am so excited for each and every one of these. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be swatching them in my Galen Leather B6 notebook, which has 52 GSM Tomoe River paper. What I'm also going to do is create samples on Rhodia paper, because what I do with those is actually I keep them in my little, I don't know, my catalog like this, so I can see all of the samples all at once. I started this before I really wanted to focus on Tomoe River paper, so the effect is going to be slightly different on the Rhodia paper, but it's nice to still have a catalog of all the ink bottles and samples I've ever tried to just kind of flip through. Now this is organized alphabetically because that's just my mindset, and a lot of people organize theirs by color, but I like mine in alphabetical order, but that's just me. All right, let's get started. So the first ink I am swatching is a Diamine Ochre, and I've always been a little bit interested in this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little bit of that sample, that's a lot, and actually just put a couple of drops on the paper. I might be able to only do 2 at a time here. And then take a little bit, oh, before I even do that, take my ink sample vial and just, similar to what Leanne of Leanne Likes does with her ink samples, she uses a stainless steel cup, and I like the smaller circles. So then I'm going to take my Kakimori brass nib here, and I just did the thing that I'm not supposed to do, which is wipe it on the edges. Oh boy. So this is, I love that already, Diamine Ochre. Oh wow. I never thought I would really get into browns, but this is like a burnt color. There's more. Whoever thought that I would say there's a complexity in a brown, but there is. And then what I like about these Kakimori brass nibs is getting the different, oh, too far, line widths. How cool is that? Oh, I love that. So then I'm going to go to do the sample in here. The next ink is Taccia Ukiyo ink series in Ume Murasaki, and I've tried one other Taccia ink before, so it's nice to get samples of inks that I haven't really worked with before. I'm always so careful about these dots. Actually, I'm going to take a little bit more so that I can do, oh, don't spill, this here as well. 1, 2, 3. Don't want to waste any of that. And then taking my ink sample vial, which is here, and just creating a little circle. These are so fun. Look at that beautiful purple. I actually prefer doing it with these ink sample vials versus a paintbrush. While a paintbrush I think is beautiful and the effects are lovely, there's just something so simple about a circle. Really simple. So then taking my brass nib, wiping some of that excess off because knowing me, I will get it on myself. So this is Taccia Ukiyo and this is Ume Murasaki. Am I going to fit it all in here? Yes. So then here, see, this is a difficult thing. Taccia Ukiyo Ume Murasaki. I love purples. So pretty. I never thought that I would be into purples, but I do love them. Who knew? Some figure eights, line variation. Oh, lovely. And some hearts. There we go. Beautiful. So that is Taccia Ukiyo Ume Murasaki. The next ink is another Taccia Ukiyo ink series, and it's Ume Murasaki. I've actually had this in my cart at Van Nys for months now. I can't believe I've had it in there for months. And Marilyn commented on one of my videos and said, I have like a milliliter of this. Would you like some? And I'm like, yes. So I am excited to try this one. If you guys know anything about me, you know my love for dusty pinks, but this one already looked more complex than that. I love it. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. Yes, I'm saying that every time I put this vial down. Oh my gosh, it even looks like there's like a little bit of green or brownie undertone to that, but I love that. Okay, thank you, Marilyn, because I am going to purchase a sample of this from Van Nys. Like, that is just gorgeous. So this is Taccia in their Ukiyo series, and this is Ume Murasaki. Wow, that is beautiful. I feel like the ink samples are they're running close to each other here. That's okay. Ume Murasaki. Wow. That is beautiful. And you can see how it's drying a little bit more pink, but the writing sample looks more brown. It reminds me a little bit of Kitsune Biore by Sailor. But it's gorgeous. I love it. Like, the writing sample, you can really tell it's a beautiful, beautiful dusty pink. Oh, love it. I am going to happily use this 1 ml sample. The next one is Dominant Industry in their Pearl series, and this is Autumn Forest. I really wanted to try these, but I couldn't bring myself to purchase them. I'm saying that, I'm talking about ink purchases. Got some water on there. Talking about ink purchases for 2023. I haven't really purchased any inks in 2023. I've done swaps with friends and, you know, from kind people like Marilyn who have volunteered to swap with me or send me samples, which is very, very kind. I haven't had to buy any new inks. Ooh. Interesting. Very interesting. It reminds me again of Sailor Manyo Shirakashi. Wow. But yeah, through the generosity of people, I haven't had to make any ink purchases for 2023 so far. The only two inks that I've purchased were from Goulet Pens recently when I purchased Sailor Manyo Nuts, and that came with Sailor Manyo Shirakashi. And I bought a sample of Sailor Shikiori Harahara. Those were the only two inks that I've purchased so far this year. So this is the, what series is this? Pearl. And it's Autumn Forest. I love when it dries that you can see there's a little, like you can see that pink shimmer. It's so, so pretty. Once again, Dominant Industry, Autumn Forest. Oh, pretty. I remember when Marilyn asked me, so what inks would you like? And then I was shown the huge collection of inks, and the list that I could choose from was just so overly generous. And oh, I'm so, so grateful. Look at that. It's like shimmer and sheen. I don't know if that's coming through in the camera, but it is beautiful. Let me just bring this a little closer here, but it's just, wow. I will show all of these once they're dried too, but that is fantastic. So that is Dominant Industry Autumn Forest. The next ink is also a Dominant Industry from their Pearl series. It is Dawn. And I can already see that's a bit of purple with shimmer. And let's take a few drops of this. Oh, okay, that's one big one. There, 2, 3. I might just have to, it's a good thing it dropped on that side versus the other side because, oh boy. All right, so let's see what this looks like. Oh, it's a lighter purple. I thought it was gonna be darker, but it's really light. Very, very light. It reminds me a little bit of Blushing Mushroom or Blue Barrel Tonic from Ferris Wheel Press. Very light ink, and I'm interested to see what that shimmer is. So let's go ahead with, this is Dominant Industry. And it is Dawn. Beautiful. Oh, look at that. The way it is drying is lovely. Now, oh, I did them the wrong way. Oh well. The thing with writing with my Kakamori brass nib is that I don't necessarily get a representation, no, whatever, Dawn, of whether these are really dry or wet. But from what I'm noticing with these ones, I haven't noticed anyone that's particularly too dry. But I can imagine with some of these shimmery inks that you are going to have to use a medium or a broad nib because of the shimmer. That is stunning. That is an absolutely stunning ink. Oh my goodness. I'm just gonna stare at that for a second. Wow. Oh my goodness. Excited for that one. The next 4 inks I will be sampling are from Monteverde, and this one is Rose Noir. And I've been curious about Monteverde inks, but again, curious doesn't mean that I'm gonna go and say, check out. because I've been through, well, if you guys watched my most recent currently inked, talking about how many ink samples I have, I'm really trying to not go crazy with all of the ink samples. So that's why I haven't really purchased any. So let's take some here and do 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, 3. Pretty. Oops. Spilling water everywhere. Oh, and I'm like forgetting what order I have to do things. Ooh. That's pretty. Oh, that is pretty. How many purples does one need? Well, they're all a little bit different. Wow. You know what? I don't really care if my circles are perfect or not. In the end, it's all art. So making sure that that's dry. So Monteverde, and this is the second Monteverde ink I've tried. I have one from a PenChalet order, which was Midnight Black. And it's hard to get an impression of an ink if it's just a black one. But this one is pretty. And doing my typical flower. I do the flower for both because I think it's pretty, but also just to get a sense of, you know, if you're gonna draw or sketch with these inks, what does that look like? Oh, pretty. Gorgeous. That's a beautiful purple. I did put a lot of ink down though on that page, and look, you can see the sheen. You can see the sheen in here. I'm gonna bring that closer. But you can really see the green sheen in that. That was unexpected. Beautiful. So that is Monteverde Rose Noir. The next one from Monteverde is Birthday Cake. And I found this, I was looking through the Monteverde website just to get an idea of what their inks are like. So I'm just cleaning out the little pipette here. But I thought these were so interesting. And the names, I mean, Birthday Cake, come on. So let's take a little bit of this. And where's my marker? There we go. 1, 2, 3. And same here. 1, 2, 3. That okay. I feel like this haul is very purple heavy. Oh wow. Again, beautiful. I feel like it's very similar to Pilot Iroshizuku Murasaki Shikibu, which I love. And when I find an ink that I love, I also want to try to find other inks that are similar to it. Hence the whole dusty pink phase. Or not even phase, just it's what I like. So Monteverde. Birthday Cake. Now, I don't know how a purple would represent birthday cake, but you know, as you do. Monteverde Birthday Cake. Sorry, I'm just seeing Rose Noir dry right above that, and that green sheen was very unexpected. I think you see that sheen more in the circles than the writing sample. But anyway, back to birthday cake. Another very pretty purple. No sheening really, but looks like it's got some really great shading. And like I said, very similar to highlighter Roshizuku Murasaki Shikibu. Oh, beautiful. So that is Monteverde birthday cake. So the next one is Monteverde pumpkin cake. So the three that I had been interested in from this particular series were all cakey. So it drops there, there, there. It's teeny. And then there, and there. I actually really like doing these little drops. I find them very amusing. Ooh. Not a color I normally go for, but wow. Ooh. Is that like a fiery orangey red? Not what I really imagined pumpkin to be, but wow. So taking some on my kakimori nib. Took a lot on my kakimori nib. Just dipped that a little bit too far. So Monteverde pumpkin cake. Very interesting. But the way that it writes, I mean, it feels a little, I was gonna say dry, but you know what? No, not really. I like the way that that writes, and that writing sample, it actually looks a little bit more brown than red. Oh, I like that. That's very autumn, very, very autumn color. So that is Monteverde pumpkin cake. The last ink in this very, very generous gift is Monteverde Blueberry Muffin. And I think when I saw this, I thought, like, you can kind of see what the color is in the cap there. So let's do our 3 drops. 1, 2, 3. That one needs a tiny bit more. And then 1, 2, 3. And where's my sample vial? Ooh, I love that. It's like a red wine Merlot color. Oops, that is not a circle. Pretty. Oh my gosh, that's gorgeous. It does remind me a little bit of Robert Oster Claret. So this is Monteverde Blueberry Muffin. And I can see why it would be called Blueberry Muffin, because blueberries aren't blue. When you squish them down, they look more like this color. What word am I trying to write there? Wow. I really like that color. Oh, and in the figure eights, this is lovely to write with, and you can see how it's drying. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. So that is Monteverde Blueberry Muffin. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you close-ups of these, but also compare them to some inks that are similar in that color. So just a quick look at Diamine Ochre here. I really love, and I don't know if it's coming through the camera, but the shading is gorgeous. And then Taccia Ume Murasaki, really beautiful purple actually. And I'm looking for something very similar to Pilot Iroshizuku Murasaki Shikibu. So I'll take the sample out with that and show you. And then Taccia Ume Murasaki. I love this one. Love this one. And I will compare it to my dusty pinks here. And then Dominant Industry Autumn Forest. Look at that shimmer. Beautiful, beautiful. And then Dominant Industry Dawn. It looks very similar to Ferris Wheel Press Blushing Mushroom. Still a very pretty ink. And then Monteverde Rose Noir. Look at that green sheen. I hope that's coming through there, but that green sheen. And not as much coming through in the writing sample, which I prefer, actually. Just a little bit of sheen is enough for me. And then Monteverde Birthday Cake. Again, very similar. I put the two purples next to each other, but you can see very similar to Murasaki Shikibu. And then Monteverde Pumpkin Cake. Like, look, that burnt color reminds me of homemade tortilla. And then lastly, Monteverde Blueberry Muffin. Reminds me of Robert Oster Claret. So let's take those swatches out and compare them. So here are the purples in my current collection, and we have Taccia Nakamurasaki and Monteverde Birthday Cake. And I feel like that you can kind of see a little bit of green sheen on the edges. What is that the most similar to? That's Sydney Lavender, probably not. And that one's not very similar to Sydney Lavender either. I feel like it's probably closer. Oh, even that, I don't know. Amazing Amethyst. I don't know what that's closer to. Gosh, and the thing is with purples, there's so much within a purple that could be different. And I thought that this was going to be similar to Murasaki Shikibu, but Murasaki Shikibu is lighter. And then I pulled out Poussière de Lune, but this doesn't go with any of them at all. And then Purple Dream is more on the red side, the warmer side of the purple. So I thought that I didn't, I thought I had inks, purple inks similar to those, but really I don't. So next color is the Taccia Ume Murasaki. And this one I wanted because I wanted something similar to a dusty pink like Teranishi Opera Rose, but you can tell this one is a little bit more orange and this one is a darker pink. And then it looks like it's more similar to Laban Aphrodite. And then Colorverse Brunch Date, which I will move here. Colorverse Brunch Date is more similar to Teranishi Opera Rose, but so these ones are leaning more warm and these ones are leaning, like these are leaning more orange and these ones are leaning more brown pink, but I just think that's a beautiful, beautiful color. So excited for that one. Then we have Dominant Industry Dawn, and I said it was either similar to Ferris Wheel Blushing Mushroom or Blue Barrel Tonic, and I feel like it's a good in-between of the two of them. You've got that purpley shimmer and then that purple. I almost feel like it's similar to Nekoyanagi as well by Sailor. So those are the two most similar that I have to a Dominant Industry Dawn. Then we have Diamine Ochre and Monteverde Pumpkin Cake, which actually look very similar. And I thought that they look similar to Homemade Tortilla or Spicy Chipotle. And actually, I feel like if you combine these two together, you would get a mixture of either pumpkin cake or ochre. So not necessarily leaning one way or the other, but I feel like if you combine these two, you would get these two shades. Then we have Dominant Industry Autumn Forest, and it's got a little bit of a green, olivey green brown base, and then you have that purpley shimmer. Look at that. And the closest that I could find with this is either Sailor Manyo Shirakashi or even Kelp Tea. I feel like the undertones of this ink are similar to both of these, but then you add the shimmer on top of that and it's a completely different ink. This is beautiful. Then lastly, we have Monteverde Blueberry Muffin, and I thought it would have been similar to Sailor Shikiori Hara Hara, but I feel like this is more purple versus this one is more towards the red. And then I said it looks similar to Robert Oster Claret, which I feel like this is lighter and more, I don't know, it's so hard for me to describe it, but then you've got Poussiere de Lune, and also Tyrian Purple. I feel like Tyrian Purple is probably the closest in terms of tone, but it is lighter and less saturated than Blueberry Muffin. I think that those two are actually the closest. So that is the comparison for Blueberry Muffin. And then lastly, Monteverde Rose Noir. I don't have anything that looks like this that has that green sheen. And unfortunately on the rodeo paper, it just looks like a green pool of ink versus a sheen, but it gives you a little bit of an idea of what that ink looks like. So there are all of the ink samples that were sent to me by the very generous Miss Marilyn Darling. Thank you so much for sending these through. I always appreciate when people reach out and say, I actually have a bottle of this, or I have a sample of this, I'd love to send it to you. And this is what I love about the fountain pen community. We're all very, I say we, like I'm one of them, but I say we in terms of that I feel very much a part of this community. I feel very accepted by this community, and I'm so grateful for that. So thank you. All right, so if you guys like this video, please don't forget to hit that like button and to subscribe. Thank you again so much for watching, and have yourselves a great day.